This is a front. Here is a rear. This muffler has been dented here, possibly from the exhaust pipe hitting something. These other marks you find here, I believe you'll find that the fire marshal, dismantling the car, made those. But the explosion here would be toward the ground.
Fire of undetermined origin.
Taking parts.
A fire of undetermined origin.
A portion of the car, the fire indicated that it might have started.
The hottest part of the car was across the top deck, starting at about the top window on the passenger side of the car and going at an angle to the windshield post on the driver's side of the car on the front.
Subnormal.
The car was very hot. It reached a degree to melt the glass and let it down in little stringy, thread-like substances. It burned all of the burnable material out of the car, with the exception of the tire slugs, which are underneath the wheels, which cannot burn because they're not supported by oxygen.
Blood. Now, ordinarily that shows up first in the lungs, doesn't it?
Well,
It's taken up by the blood from the lungs.
yes.
That's right. Now, did you examine her lungs for any this carbon monoxide?
No. I only had parts of viscera brought to me by Dr. Sadler that he removed at autopsy, and I did not receive any lung tissue.
I found evidence of considerable burning with destruction of a considerable amount of tissue, a number of the bones being burned to a considerable degree. Examination of the various organs of the body showed no evidence of any natural diseases or any significant trauma other than the fire, except in the skull, in which there were some fractures on the top part, which I am unable to say for sure whether they were produced by the fire or were there prior to the fire.
After the gasoline had been consumed,
I would say so.
and there would be enough heat to set that tire on fire and also set the spare tire on fire.
Yes, sir.
And in your examination of the automobile, it indicated that the heat came from the left rear tire in that vicinity.
Yes, there was a tremendous amount of burning at the left rear. As a matter of fact, the spring there, the left rear spring, the front portion of that spring had lost all of its temper and sagged. That happens very often in automobile fires, for the reason that when the fire reaches the solenoid starter, shorting the wires, if the car is in gear, it will jump as any vehicle will. If with a battery, for instance, that is low and you have it in gear, it'll just jump forward.
Then your contention is that the back end of the car would have had to start it first. If it had been the front end, would you say that that part, the battery, and that would have been consumed before it would have hit the solenoid switch?
Well, during the normal process of a fire. Now, we have set fire to vehicles for the purpose of determining the amount of damage that can be caused by an automobile fire. And generally, an automobile burning will burn only from the dash backwards. Now,
there was an accident and Annie was burned.
Who said that?
Mrs. Flurry. And she said there was, they say they think it was foul play.
Did she say who said that?
Well, they said they got a phone call. They didn't say who from or where from. But as we went on
Now,
out,
what reply did you make to her when she said, no, they think it's foul play?
well, I said, where's Dee?
Where is she?
No, I said, where's Dee?
Where's Dee?
Yes.
But you didn't make any inquiries to where she was.
Not until we started on the way out, and then I just, in the normal well, it wasn't normal, but in the conversation, we just,
Now, your first idea was to contact her husband.
yes,
Regardless of her condition, you
Yes.
want to see the husband.
yes.
On that.
Just a moment, let's have it quiet, please.
I contacted this boy as he came up. I was the first contact he made. He made inquiries from me as to what had happened. I told him the body was in the car, who we thought it was. He was terribly shocked. He never had a chance to talk to Dee without me being present.
What percent burned would you say it was?
I'd say it was 90%.
Burning? But there was nothing there.
There's enough that it left this much of the left sleeve and about this much of this here and the cuff here and a little bit around the top. The rest of it was
Just like all the other students do, we have a pretty friendly campus up there. In the college?
You should know how to tell when to come after you, is that correct? That's right. Go ahead.
I went north with a tractor approximately 1.5 miles, at which time I noticed smoke. And
forgiven you, so help you God. Do you want that?
So,
Car.
and where was the car?
It was half a mile north and approximately a mile and a quarter east of my place.
East of your place.
Yes.
And you saw the body in the car there.
Yes, sir.
Did you identify the body as being that of your wife?
I couldn't tell by looking at the body that was my wife, no.
Well, could you tell by looking at anything?
Yes. The only thing that I saw her shoe there and the remains of her coat and her beads and my car there. The body was in the car, and that's as far as I could say. Beads or pearls or whatever they call them.
And did you see any rings?
No,
Have you ever seen any rings that were found there?
no.
Never have.
Mr. Reynolds, would you take a look at this ring and see if you recognize that ring?
Looks like Annie's.
This, of course, is another portion of another gold band. We have no way of possibly identifying that as a band without test, a metal test being made to see if it's the same material. But she wore a wedding ring
And an
of that
engagement.
design.
Yes, and an engagement ring clipped together.
They were clipped together, and this prong here on the side indicates that this one has been clipped to get to another ring.
Had been up here at the time, your former wife.
What time?
During the time this happened.
Not that I know of.
Well, do you know now, was she here, say, a week or 2 weeks prior to that?
I still don't know.
You didn't see her?
I never did see her, no.
Did she at any time ever make any threats against you or against Notre Dame
She has made threats against me, but not my wife that I have heard myself.
that you've heard of? You say you got home about 4:30?
No, 15.
4:15. At the time you arrived home, did you notice then that the laundry had not been taken away from there? I
Yes.
understand that it was Ann's habit of taking that laundry on Tuesdays or coming home after it and getting it and taking it to have it laundered. Now, did you notice that that laundry had not been taken?
Yes.
Did it cause you any concern because she wasn't there and the laundry hadn't been gone?
No, because I thought probably she just changed her mind.
Since that the body was found out there?
Person wouldn't really do that if they didn't want somebody to think there was something wrong with them, would they?
Well, you didn't answer my question.
Well, I
Have you
don't.
inquired of anybody if they've seen your wife?
No, I haven't.
You have.
Mr. Reynolds, in driving your car, would you say that your muffler and tailpipe were in good condition?
My muffler wasn't in good condition.
Explain to the jury just what you mean by not being in condition.
Well, I knew that it had a hole in it.
Different times. And he was in there both times with the students.
How many students does he have?
11.
11. Now, the pickup that Mr. Reynolds uses as transportation to and from school, did you have an occasion to see it about the school?
From my office, he usually parks it and did on March the 13th directly in front, perhaps about 50 yards. And it was never moved all day.
You could have seen. Now, what did you do to those trousers that you took out?
Well, I carried them across the street and opened the door on the driver's side and just hung them on the hook above the rear window.
Behind the driver?
Yes.
Then where did you go?
I went directly to the library.
Directly to the library?
Yes.
You arrived at the library about what time?
Between 20 and a quarter of 1.
Between 20 and a quarter to 1.
Yes.
You remained there how long?
Until quarter past 9.
Then where did you go?
I went to a botany lab.
Taught by who?
Anna B. Fisher.
Anna B. Fisher. At what time did you get out of the botany lab?
About 20 minutes to 3. They said
in relation to the tracks and what apparently had transpired there.
Well, when I first went up there, the car had burned up, practically burned up. Well, I never went on west at that time. Billy King come up to me and asked me what was going on, and I told him the car had burned up. And by that time, there'd be people began to come in there, and I found out whose car it was, and the fellow knew who the party was. And I asked him.
There was a fine ash. I won't attempt to tell what the burning was, but it was a light ash that if I was going to offer an answer, it would be debris that could have blown up there or could have come from some other source. But it looked as if it was a fine ash that, I'd say it could be weeds, it could be thistles, it could be anything.